Hello and welcome. This is the Daily Dharma. My name is Dina. Thank you so much for joining today. So we're taking a moment, cleansing, clearing the space, preparing for the messages to come. I have laid out a few cards here on the table already from a deck that I don't use as often. All decks are listed below. So this one, it has a lot of imagery speaking in patterns today. So the base that I'm pulling, the base theme, is that on some level, those of you who feel very strongly that there is something waiting, something just out of sight or out of your awareness, you can feel it coming. You can feel this blessing or this sense of recognition, some type of approval, or so on, some type of positive influence coming for you. But there's something that needs to be overcome, or the way must be cleared, or, and probably for all of us, there is the need to cleanse and clear, because whenever we clear a space, that empty, supposedly empty space becomes a vacuum. And as we cleanse and clear, if we can get very clear on our own personal authentic alignment and our own desires in the highest that we're wishing to pull through and into our worlds, when we can really key in, clue in to whatever that is for us, uniquely us, that core resonance is fulfilled in the vacuum. So there's a blessing waiting in spirit, supposedly here. That word supposedly, it keeps not seeming like the right word, but things come out for a reason. Underneath the deck here, we have core. See, this is that awareness, the longing type resonance that is calling you to continue to move forward powerfully, to trust and have faith in the intuitive nudges that are coming up. It's some type of a fiery essence from the core of her. And I'm also reminded that in recent weeks, it's been coming through, whether or not I've actually said it or not. If there is some circumstance or individual in your midst right now, in this phase that we're coming out of, that has been out of alignment with your highest potential in those elements that you're feeling compelled and passionately inspired to pursue, there may be some types of discomfort or seeming aches, pains, some types of sickness, maybe a head cold, maybe stuffiness, maybe upset stomach, maybe aches and pains in the back, the legs, the knees, headaches, something such as that. So 3:33 on the timer. What is this core? So firstly, we have at the center of the reading this describing the viewer, or flip and reverse roles, it's, as this is a general reading. There's this child. It could be an inner child, or take it as you resonate. It could be a child that you already know that you're protecting. But I'm seeing this here. I was already sensing that there was this child when I grow up, and this long-held belief of something that answered some type of soul core longing from a very long time ago, perhaps. And this has been held in energetic escrow, waiting for your preparation, waiting for the circumstances, waiting for things to come into perfect alignment, if perfection is not too much of a word here. So this can be, again, yourself as a child of yours, but there's this seed of the adult within the child. And it's like the rediscovery word here is almost talking about the rediscovery of that core thing or wish, something that we've gotten super close to, but just has not possibly transpired in the full impact and full authentic, mind-blowing fruition that we were hoping. Okay, and I want to show you the crossing cards, but for whatever reason in the last couple days I keep forgetting those, and they came out last, so I'll show you those in a moment. Crowning the reading, we have this influence card. There's a few things right here by my finger. There's that pomegranate, signifying the Persephone issues, where the mother, her child was kidnapped by Hades, taken into the underworld, and because she ate the pomegranate, she wasn't able to come back into the land of the living. However, because of her mother's dedication, commitment, and withholding of her abundance in a situation, they had to come to a negotiation because she was withholding the abundance of the earth itself, creating drought, famine, and so on. And so they came into a negotiation where then the child, the maiden Persephone, would come 6 months out of the year to the mother and return 6 months out of the year to this captor energy. So in the moment, I'm being told some of you may be going through the resolution of a committed partnership with the parent of your child, and there may be some ideas or fears of the toxic nature of that other individual here, but that was not what was initially coming through. I'm seeing so many other things here. We've got this dove here with this aura that's often drawn in different biblical depictions, signifying some type of angelic Christed or heightened consciousness, awareness, and service to humanity, almost some type of enlightened perspective. And I'm seeing this, since it is above this card of rediscovery, that this rediscovery of this important thing is happening perhaps by someone. It could be somebody in spirit here, it could be a mother in spirit looking after the child, seeing and wanting you to reawaken those long held dreams, to stand fully in your becoming process here. It's like they're holding these gifts here for you so that they're well protected until you are ready, but they're ready to help you to get into alignment with those things or influences. Or fated meeting came out again in the pre-shuffle today. So I'm also seeing, I don't know if this is something that's a message for someone in particular, but you know those, are they called gauges or plug or something in the ears, where the ear gets those different size things that expand the ear hole? Somebody here may have some confirmation with that. Oh, and lastly, one other thing that was coming through here was all these moons here. It seems to be something about the moon cycle. It could be that there's maturing here that's being talked about, or some type of physical birth or birthing of this spiritual blessing into the earthly realms coming forward. And birth doesn't have to mean birth of a child, although for some of you it may be, because it seems to be coming out again and again here. So at the foundation of the reading, we're seeing this imagery of this sacred partnership between this masculine and feminine, but don't get caught up in that if that's not your story. The rainbow essences here are, to me, talking more so about the connectivity between the chakra centers, the energy centers between individuals. And when we're in co-resonance with another creator and holding the same core passion or fire here, then there is this enlightening chakra enlivening experience that is happening whenever these individuals are investing in that, are believing and holding faith in this. And if and when they were to stop holding faith or resonance, or become distracted in their patterns or whatever in the learning cycle that humans have to do, then there might be some muddy energy or disconnection happening between this. But this to me suggests the potential of a sacred union on a very deep level. You can call that by any of the popular tag words and phrases that you wish, but there's something here being blessed upon these individuals, and it looks like that what's pushing them together is the urge and the need, the core urge for a dependable partnership that is deep, not something superficial in the least, because we have something coming up for that. Right behind the viewer, we have this card of efficiency. And I'm seeing this real skeptical look, as though somebody has really been watching. I sense this is the self really watching things develop, looking for possibly clues, gathering insights, information, getting back into really listening to the flow of things. And am I aligned? Are situations aligned? Are other people and co-creators in my environment aligned with my core resonant truth that is trying to come to me? What you want wants you more, I heard this morning. So something too about there's the potential that someone has almost taken your voice out of a situation, or has stifled your dreams in some type of a way. But this doesn't happen upon us. This is something that we are either allowing, that we are recognizing and realizing that no one can take our voice. I'm hearing nobody can put baby in a corner. Maybe it has something to do with a discipline, the urge to have children, and then the awareness and the gathering of clues of, are we on the right page? Do we hold the same values? Where if we were to gather together to create something with this individual on the professional level, would we hold the same values about how to handle operations, what tone we take with our marketing, and so on? And in the same way with children, do we believe in the same type of discipline? And how would we address different types of value systems? I know there's a lot of different discrepancies, especially in the woke crowd versus the traditional crowd. There are many different factors that influence, and can you negotiate and feel like it's a win-win, or is it constantly the lose-lose, or somebody gets to win and somebody always has to comply? There's this urge to gather the clues before speaking on something, but this individual, yourself, seems very wise, very savvy, and highly aware of all of the factors. Nothing is going outside of your notice. And in the near future, we have these two cards. We have this surface level going with the flow, but look at the angsty expression on the feminine's face and the masculine shown sleeping. Again, switch those roles if that speaks to your situation. These are just cards and it's a general reading, but it shows that there's a difference. Like maybe somebody here is having a sleepless night and somebody else is sleeping like a baby because they feel maybe that they've won, or that they're completely believing that everything's just completely fine and dandy, while this person's like, yeah, but what about my passions? And this person's like, just kick that out the window. And you're like, no, there's this thing that's a core. It's a game changer. What's that word? There's a word for it, a full stop. type of an energy. And behind that is context. What's the context of this superficiality, this surface level? And at the depth, at your core, what is that passionate fire rising up that wants to transform your experience? What is that gift coming to you that will transform your sense of fulfillment and engagement? Is it a calling? Because with this passion rising up, it doesn't matter if it's a person, place, individual, a great love that you're calling in, or a child, or a circumstance, or the platform that you find necessary to reach your public, with your offerings. There's something coming here that through the context of whatever information has come to the forefront, spirit or the forces that be, universal influencers, and perhaps the guidance happening concurrently with your investigative awareness here, and the awareness of the budding knowledge of your body's intuitive knowledge. This is seen by spirit to be the most efficient, effective, and quickest, most expedient way to get you to where you need to be in the fastest way possible. Like if things were easier, we would stay in situations that didn't fulfill. But we're told that there's not a lot of time to waste in false allowance. Tolerance and allowance is one thing. We can allow ourselves to receive, but something is blocking that here. But yeah, it's trying to show us that if there is something that needs to be acted upon, they're going to make it more uncomfortable. The more aware you are, the more uncomfortable you will become, and particularly in the body, in order to quicken your responsiveness, to quicken your awareness, and to place things, people, places, things in proper context, somebody's words being put into context, really revealing differences in the partnership, and possibly seeing where there's just attachment or by convenience, connectivity by convenience, by proximity. For instance, somebody who's local, it's just like, oh, well, yeah, you can have the job, you came first, whatever. But are they the right person for the job? So crossing the questioner here. Oh, and one more. Under the deck at first, before I recognized I hadn't done some crossing, is this discernment influence, which I set upwards and to the high left, looking down upon the reading here, even upon the influences. And it seems to be your own discernment of all of these factors at play, and a bit of discouragement in some regards, but also an awareness of unmet potentials, and something that isn't quite working as expediently and efficiently as possible, needing a course correction, something of the self that's being rediscovered and unable to stuff that down any longer, seeking for someone that is in it to win it, that is an equal, reciprocal partner in this manifestation process, who wants the same things, who brings some type of similar energy, even if on the surface level, the two of you have two completely different worlds. Maybe that's one of the factors that's going to be most beneficial to reach a wider populace through the nature of your involvement, whatever that may be. So, beneath the discernment card was this productivity card, which shows this motherly influence. And there's a child right under her arm here that she's kind of like got underneath part of her cloak, 1919 on the timer. And then she is looking at this beautiful, like, passion chakra mandala flower here. And it looks like they're deep in the forest. So it does have the influence or some type of context about perhaps matriarchal line, the mother and child, the protectiveness, even if that's coming from beyond you, the great mother, Gaia, something. having like even like the inability to conceive of something with one individual being in your highest benefit because they're not the right one to bring it forward. And so here we have crossing the questioner. We have, look at this, potential and ready but waiting. Do you see that dove in her hand and these muddy influences here? Crossing the questioner here, crossing your energy. I'm seeing so many hits. The thing in her hand here looks like this thing here. And that child inside looking like this one with the mother inside. It's like being telepathically connected with your child or your mother, even if that person is at a significant distance, entangled energies, even if that individual has crossed realms into the afterlife or however you see this, crossed into spirit, into energy, pure energy, their memory and their context, their character is still seated within you. Something about, again, with the number of feminine's eggs being prediscovered or predetermined from the time of birth, the woman has all of those eggs within her that will be ready and waiting. So this potential life, this awareness of where the voice has been subdued, repressed, and the awareness and the need to cleanse, clear, and get prepared. Because something here with this dove, this influence, they're holding and protecting this energy here for you, waiting to drop it in your lap. It's ready, but waiting for you to become aware, to trust, to have faith in its potential. And that's the initial layout here. And in the code cards, I did a quick shuffle, and flipping out, we had realization and romantic love. So whether this is a great love that you felt like there's got to be someone for me, and you're sitting here single as can be, something like single as a Pringle. Who says that? Even in, you might be in a partnership, but constantly everything that you're doing is independent instead of intra-dependent. You can't necessarily rely on this other, which comes out with this dependability. What is this surface level lack of dependability, lack of feeling of trust, support, and partnership, teammate, somebody who honors and is proactively dedicated to the thriving of the unit, whether that's family, friendship, co-workers, and so on. Is everybody mutually invested? And if not, why? There's a realization of what it takes here for you to be deeply answered in your core, to have that mutual ignition of your passion here, illuminating the third eye, somebody who sees the depth of what you are doing in your life, even if they're not on that same exact team on the surface. Are they supportive to it? Are they inspired by your commitment and dedication? Are they like, yeah, you're the perfect individual to do this, this, this? Or are they undermining and saying, yeah, you got problems, because we don't need somebody to point out all of our problems and our missteps. We need somebody to help us across the river, not to watch us slip and fall on our face in the river while we're trying to cross those slippery rocks. Am I right? Allowance. This is, what do we allow going forward and what has been allowed. And like the crossing the river idea here, it's like, has somebody allowed you to fail for some reason when they could have assisted, even if we're all busy, right? But I often find that there are those individuals that will sit there and their hands will be full and my hands will be full, and they're like, have you got that? I can get one more. there's a difference between that, and not that that's them taking on too much in some type of codependence, but someone who's looking out for your best interest, and somebody who is not going to, for some type of lower energetic reason, maybe jealousy or envy coming forward with that. Like, why would somebody watch you slip and fall unless you needed some type of lesson? But who are they to impart that lesson? I mean, we don't need enablers if we're addicted to a pattern. And we don't want somebody that's going to just be like, oh, poor, pitiful you, if you're stuck in a cycle of negativity. And we don't want to be that for others. However, I'm sensing that this is a little deeper than that. It's like, somebody who walks in and the energy just completely shifts and changes. And on the surface, it might seem like there's connection, but then that vibe is unmistakable. It's like, here we are, passionate, involved, got everything going. And all of a sudden it's like, there's this subdued energy. There's a need to stop having my experience and to harness that a little bit so that I can see what's at play here. It's like somebody walking into your space that doesn't necessarily jive or speak to the values of that space. So flipping out, incredible, conception and divine masculine. So, I mean, whoever in this reading has been taking certain actions, both individuals perhaps, who is operating through kindness and compassion and wisdom to help bring dreams and ideas into form, supporting the strong, focused, and active side of both personalities, perhaps, is either going to assist in the cooperative development of something pending, or is not going to assist in that process. And if they're not the right one, the blessing cannot be delivered because it's out of alignment. Next, on the flip out, we had emergence, emerging ideas about this. And under the deck, we have empowerment. So some type of romantic realization is coming forward, and it has to do with what you're trying to birth into this world proactively with your own masculine essence, your ability to not only receive, but then to take and formulate and make a plan of action to receive more, to co-create. We don't only receive, but we take action. And this is empowering your beliefs about the decision that's coming next. So let's see if we get any further clarification from the Return to Spirit deck here. What is this dove that's being birthed, and or anything that needs to come forward? Let's take these two. You've got to be kidding me. Birthing and power. You are a powerful portal for bringing things into physical form, into materialization through so many of the energetic ways that you are able to plug into your magic, into your vibrational resonance, and to then allow that to work through you, to listen, to feel, to think, to hold space, and then to birth that through the portal of self. This is the birthing portal right here as well. It's like the conception, the ability to see actions, and underneath, caretaker. Not only are you being taken care of, but you've been seen to be taking care of others. But it's time to take flight in some type of a way, whether that's to leave something behind or to take a leap of faith and gather the courage to create some type of enterprise or business or some such as that. There's something powerful coming through you, and you're being asked to reevaluate the influences around yourself. Are they divine? Are they in alignment with the highest? Because I see that you are, and you're being influenced appropriately and being taken care of by spirit. All right. Change direction with ease, number 5. This is a time for change, shape shifting, or your soul's evolution. It's time to reconsider what you're wanting. You may be in for a surprise. Gliding through the currents. I see that as that surface level card here at 3030, but this is 13. With a different approach, you will glide through a situation with grace and ease. Going inward and bringing your understanding, perspective, or behavior into flow will help your dreams to take flight. That's incredible. Helping your dreams to take flight. Yeah, so this is like, it looks like you've been fearful or withholding essence of self in a context of your situation here because another seems to be in a different vibrational resonance. And as this empathic caretaker energy, you've allowed someone to have their vibration come into the mix and almost like stomp around like a little toddler to demand of their own resonance, perhaps in your space. So one more, shedding the old, number 38. There's a change coming your way. Cultivate a sense of adventure so you'll be able to see these new prospects and to celebrate them and have faith and hope in them, right? So that's all that we have time for today. I hope that you got something out of that, and check other readings, as all are uploaded intended to be timeless. So based on either resonance of any sort, check out those readings. And if this is where we part, until next time, take good care of yourself.